In the wake of Disney's last quarterly earnings results, there was a spike in the stock price. There was also a spike in unusual activity on Twitter centered around a handful of accounts, not just regular bots that say anything, but paid accounts. And this was all discovered by Master of the TDS, who we have here today on That Park Place.
Hello, nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, so good to have you here. This is, for those of you who don't know, this is Master of the TDS. He is from a channel called Gothic Therapy. He does fantastic work of compiling tweets and the unusual behaviors of real people, generally speaking, on Twitter, but also has discovered some unusual activity that is of interest to our audience here on That Park Place, and of course to the newly reinstated WDW Pro channel. We do have a story that we can talk about, but the thing that I want to focus on is your video and this specific tweet thread. You have the narrative here. How did this all start?
So it started actually a while back. I believe I messaged you about it when it originally started happening. Well, I was already working on it before then, but I had been always looking into, because one of the things people always mentioned is that there were, bots. Everybody's using bots. And there was a lot of people popping up out of the woodwork to promote certain movies and whatever, and they would disappear. And then you kind of looked at it and went, is it bots? But there really was no actual proof that yes, this is bots. There were little bits here and there, nothing concrete. So my goal was to find potentially a way of proving that there was bot activity. And that's where it started. And it kind of spiraled from there. It took a while, a lot of research to find. But eventually, not only was I able to kind of find a couple tweets, I was able to find a lot, and that's what leads me to be here today.
Right, and when you say a lot, we're talking pages and pages of responses to a single tweet talking about the Disney stock price as it relates to a microchip manufacturer, or peculiar subjects surrounding the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but not directly about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Perhaps in a way that someone might say that there are quote unquote brand activations. That's a phrase that we hear sometimes used in the trades around a certain property, but not necessarily something that if someone were searching for, say, quote unquote, the Marvels, that they would see 1,000 tweets with almost the exact same wording.
Yeah, that would not happen, because you have to recognize, even if we don't like Disney or we're not happy with what Disney's current trajectory has been with what they're making, they're not stupid. They're definitely not. I mean, yes, they've made stupid decisions, but when it comes to bots and stuff like that, they wouldn't be stupid enough to leave a paper trail or breadcrumbs for us to follow that would be that easily defined, because then anybody could find it. So they actually they have these bots that kind of, I guess, get activated, but they variate what they're saying enough that if you were to go and search the Marvels, there's a ton of hits for that. You would have to know what to look for to find these potential accounts, and that's what I was able to discover through my research.
Perfect. And just to add some more context here, let's go through the first part of this article. This from John F. Trent bounces off of your work, which is amazing. And again, everyone go check out Gothic Therapy. The video will be linked in the description in the channel. This story out of thatparkplace.com. The Walt Disney Company accused of using bots to boost its public image and business successes. The Walt Disney Company is being accused of using bots to boost its public image and business success by getting certain topics to trend in order to falsely influence the wider public. Ex-user Master of the TDS, who is here today, of course, who also hosts the YouTube channel Gothic Therapy, made the accusation after an examination of a Twitter thread promoting the increase of Disney stock made earlier this month. Master of the TDS shared the post from mzoop98874 that reads, "Corporate profits." You can see this very press releasey kind of tweet here, and it has, very interesting to me, 1.5 million views. Now you were able to tell that that someone ran ads against this tweet, as in someone promoted this tweet with a literal ad spend.
Well,
right?
Yeah, you have to recognize that there's absolutely, even with, look, if we were talking about maybe 1,000 comments or something, 500 comments, then maybe you could argue, okay, maybe it was boosted by that. But if you look at the ratio of the likes on the tweet and the amount of interaction it's got. There is no possible way with just 200 comments and that many likes that it would have gotten 1.5 million views. That's just a way too high of a number. You want to tell me 100,000 maybe? Okay, I could see that. But 1.5 million views, you might not think that's a lot on Twitter, but it really is. It's not easy to get.
It's an amazing number, and I know things that are in the cultural zeitgeist that are not getting that kind of traction. That is an impossible number. The thing that fascinated me was the mass number of paid blue check accounts. Now that means on Twitter that someone would have had to pay. I think the maximum is about $8 a month in order to be verified, which means someone had to hand over credit card information, had to verify the account, which takes a little bit of time. So, and for all of these comments, and these comments range from, again, variations, whether it's synonyms or whether it is a basic phrasing that just tweaks a little bit and rotates. Something that I would not be surprised was generated by artificial intelligence. For these to be paid accounts means that either these accounts have been intercepted by hackers, or that someone is paying a lot of money in order to either promote this account, this Moodle Zoop account, or to promote this idea that corporate profits are the top concern of investors. Disney shares rose 11.5% after the company reported profits that exceeded analyst expectations and raised its upcoming revenue forecast. Of course, no financial advice on this channel here, but I would recommend I would recommend talking to a financial analyst that is certified in your area if you really want to see that Disney is more profitable than other companies. Generally speaking, they are not known for their wide margins. So this is also not a great take on top of it probably being bot activity. There's a recent video from Valiant Renegade that talks about the People's Choice Awards and Rachel Zegler getting the Best Action Star award from the People's Choice Awards. Forgive me for using the word award several times there. This is a system that is open to, I believe, internet voting in general. And Rachel Zegler, who was, I believe, a supporting character in Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, beat out Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible and John Wick, I believe, by a pretty wide margin here for Best Action Star of 2023. It just doesn't seem right, which is kind of the same thing that we would say about a lot of these statements from the bots that are responding to the original tweet. Something just doesn't seem right.
You have to look at how people interact with posts on Twitter or interact with social media as a whole. And while there are certain things that will garner more attention, like, for example, memes and unfortunately sometimes political things as well, those things will garner a lot of attention. So these kind of polls, especially when I see them on Twitter or social media in general, they don't really garner that much attention unless they're posted by someone quite massive. So this doesn't surprise me that these just, it doesn't seem right. And if your gut instinct is telling you that something doesn't look right, there usually is a reason.
It's an excellent philosophy, I think. Now, there's one more thing that I wanted to add here. HBO and Max CEO Casey Bloys did admit and apologize for using a troll army of fake social media accounts in order to boost the various shows' reputations over on HBO, which is now Max. This is something that, if it is available to the CEO of a large entertainment corporation, I would imagine that Disney, who at one point thought about making a bid for Twitter, would also be aware of these kind of tactics and how they could be used on the platform. Elon Musk obviously has talked about bot activity on Twitter. He's talked about the fact that in order to get rid of bot activity, having everyone verify on the platform, probably by paying money, by getting a blue check mark, is a way to diminish bot activity. I have not seen a response from him on this specific subject. I don't want to say that we all need to tweet at him until we get an understanding of what is going on here. I don't know that it will stop.
So that will depend. So I actually think that this has been going on for a lot longer than I even have evidence of. But because I believe that these accounts are made, and whether they're organic or not is not the point. But these accounts, they eventually do get flagged. Twitter does have a system for that. So if you spam a bunch of stuff and you're seeming like you're suspicious or whatever, you do get flagged. That will happen. So it's very possible that these accounts will get flagged. And what happens is I've actually found a bunch of threads of things where the original tweet was gone because someone was suspended. And if the original tweet is gone, I can't see any of the responses except for the couple that came up in my search results. So keeping that in mind, I think that this has been going on for quite some time and that the accounts get suspended and it kind of covers their tracks. But as far as it going on in the future, I think that will depend on a couple of things. It will depend on if we have anybody from Disney discovering what we're doing here, or other corporations. It might be something that they might end up kind of panicking on and stopping activity. If not, I think what's more likely to happen is that if it let's go with the analogy that it is bots, right? If they're running on some kind of algorithm, it is very not that difficult to tweak that algorithm. So it would not surprise me if the first step would potentially be to change the algorithm, change what's going on so that it's no longer as easy to find these accounts with. And if that actually happens, I say bring it on, because I will find it still.
Right, and when you pointed out the way that you were able to determine it, a single, and I don't want to ask you to reveal how you were able to discover all of these, but the tweets that you showed me, I'm 100% here. I think that you've found something. The methods that you were using in the past, and that you have to go past the initial metric in order to find what is going on. But once you crack that initial level and see where all of these bots are hiding and where they are boosting activity in order to boost a tweet, I really do think you have something here, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of what you come up with. That being said, when is the next video over on Gothic Therapy on this subject?
So the next video in general will be our regular Sunday video, which we normally do, my wife and I. As far as the next video, I definitely do already have it planned. It will hopefully be out. I would like to say next week. That depends on a couple things. So either next week or the week after, if I have the time. I will keep everybody posted. If you want to follow me on Twitter at Master of GDS, that's usually where I'll update people on things. I'll try to do it in the community tab as well. But it should be coming out hopefully within the next week or so. I already have it planned because I know exactly. You as I said, this is the tip of the iceberg. Because next we're going to go into their parks, because they're promoting their parks using the similar method. And these are actually tweets that you have not seen. So I have a bunch of tweets of them promoting their parks, which aren't doing well.
Has there been anything associated with Splash Mountain and Tiana's Bayou Adventure? That'll be a research subject that we probably, I would love to see you research that. But before you answer that question, I'm actually going to cut this video off and say, guys, please go follow Master of the TDS on Twitter and go check out Gothic Therapy. Both linked below. And of course, like this video if you like this video. If you know someone who might be interested in this subject, maybe a billionaire with a couple of tech companies under his belt, please share this out on social media. And of course, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.